Good afternoon, all, and a very welcome to this series. The third of our series of the future of ERP sessions. I'm looking forward to a very interesting session today on the role of ERP and how to choose one. My name is Kumar Malampalli. I am partner and co-founder at Ryan Brooke IT Consulting. I have over 3 decades of industry experience across consulting, program management, business intelligence, marketing, sales across airlines and manufacturing predominantly. I've headed various large IT business units, have run the IT business for 2 consecutive companies, and I look forward to a very interesting session today. Yeah. Today, we are going to be talking about a topic which is very apt for the time of the year that we are in, right? This is just before the beginning of a new year. A lot of us are taking serious IT decisions at this point in time, and we are in the midst of selecting or choosing the IT plans for the year ahead, or maybe even a year or two ahead. So, in this context, choosing the right ERP, which is, of course, the most central aspect of an IT landscape in a company, becomes very relevant. So, we thought this will be the most appropriate session for us to have at this time of the year. And I am extremely happy that we have the most appropriate speaker for this topic. Vibhu, a warm welcome, and great to have you again for this most crucial and important topic, I think. Vibhu brings over 2 decades of experience in enterprise technology. He's managed multiple businesses across the entire region, and he comes with a very great pedigree of Antworks and Infor, and has also worked in global giants like SAP and Microsoft. So he brings a perspective of multiple different platforms and solutions. So he's the perfect person for this session. Vibhu, a warm welcome. Looking forward to the session today.
Thank you, Kumar. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So with this, let's quickly jump into the actual questions. And just as a reminder to everyone who's just joined in, we'd like this session to be interactive, so please put in your questions. This is a very interesting topic for all of us. So let's start with the first and foremost thing, right? The business environment is very challenging, very dynamic. Lots happening both in terms of commodities, in terms of supply chain, in terms of geopolitical challenges. How do companies address all this, Vibhu, and manage to continue to scale and grow?
So, Kumar, you aptly said, what challenges company facing, and to give some perspective to it. Things were very different before the pandemic,
Mhm.
and it's quite different from what it is today, post pandemic. In some sense, we have come a long way, but even if you look at the number of years, it's not too far away. It wasn't
Yeah.
long back. It was just now. If you look at it, a couple of years back, we were all wearing masks. Things were very different. Businesses were impacted. Health was impacted. We had a lot of difficult times around, but also we have come a long way. And I think technology has played a very important role in solving those problems. Right now, what has really happened post pandemic? I think that's what we need to talk a little bit more about, because the landscape has completely changed, and it has changed by the adoption and rapid uh, uh, involvement of digital transformation. People were talking about it before, but it wasn't that effective or isn't that fast. And now, club inside that is the heightened supply chain complexity. So supply chain has a lot of elements. It's linked to production, logistics, transportation, inventory, warehouse management, etc. So while we were working on those models before, pandemic truly showed us that how complex it is. It was a very manually driven departmental operational work, but people have realized, organizations have realized that technology can play a very important role. So I think that's where the scale and the flexibility comes from. So that's one area. And the other one, I think, which is key, is the hybrid environment. Though I think towards down the line,
Yeah.
things are changing again. We went to remote working, then we went to hybrid working, and I'm based in Dubai. Middle East per se has been working from the offices primarily. Very little bit of hybrid work culture. But if you look at India, Kumar, where you are, or if you look at United States, large IT organizations, remote work is still the name of the game. However, if you look very recently, the giants like Microsoft and Amazon have announced come 2nd January, there is no more 3 day working from office. It's 5 day working from office unless you're a remote working. But the point here I'm trying to make here is that from remote working to hybrid working to back to office working, it is again changing the hybrid work models. So do we, organizations need to understand that there is a lot of dynamism here and technology needs to be brought in to adapt to very different kind of environments, and I think we are more ready. And the last bit I think I would say is challenges which you're facing is the data itself.
Yep.
Organizations truly realize that they really need to be agile, they need to be fast, and they need to have accurate data to make decisions, especially post pandemic, because they need to now, they are in a tougher situation. They're competing more. So, do they have the right data to make those right decisions? Is something what organizations are facing as a challenge, and I think a lot of focus is back on data itself, whether it's historical data, whether it's the current data which has been kept in. And
Yep.
now, not only that, there are other challenges which organizations are already preempting. With organizations going global and working remote, does your software or does the technologies which you're going to bring in eventually, are they AI enabled? Are they cloud enabled? Do they have the right blockchain technologies into it? Because regulatory compliance will be another challenge which the organizations need to take care of.
Yep.
Cyber security is the second big one, and of course we all talk about sustainability, but organizations still have time to get there. And this is all coupled with what I just mentioned is the data quality itself. So I think these are the broad challenges: regulatory compliance, cybersecurity, data quality, solving challenges of supply chain, and solving challenges of hybrid work model, while, remember, while maintaining operational agility and
Yes.
flexibility. This is extremely
Absolutely,
important.
absolutely. There's a whole bunch of technology disruptions happening, right? So, and
Yeah.
technology is central to many of these challenges that we have faced over the last 3 years, with so much disruption happening. Being agile and on the technology front is critical. And you were mentioning a whole bunch of things, and I think from all these aspects, ERP is a very, very central pillar, right? If there is the right ERP which can address these items, then it it eases the path, I would say, of this transformation journey. So, how does the ERP fit in, and how can it address some of these key aspects we moved? I think that's a very, very important thing that we can talk about.
Yeah. No, so Kumar, the way we look at it is that we try and take a step back. Before we talk about the right ERP, we just talk about ERP, right?
Yep.
Again, depending on the stage at which the organization in, are they early birds? Are they already in the advanced stages of their digital transformation? It totally depends where you are. But for a basic standard organization, ERP systems are going to be the foundation to any digital transformation. You can take care of your little bit of security, you can take care of your hardware requirements, you can give devices to the organizations, but then move forward, everything else is on the cloud. So ERP has to be on the cloud. So that's number one. But ERP becomes a foundation and a background to everything with the organization has to do beyond and advancement. I mean, bringing
Yep.
an AI platform and a technology without it having the right data. And where will the right data and transactions come from? Right data and transactions will come from an integrated ERP system, which is comprising across different functions, different departments. So initiatives like data analytics, data driven decision making can only happen, which is very important to the C level, only if there's the right ERP system in the place.
Yep.
The other one, I think, which is extremely important, the essence of any organizations, I think, is two. One is having the right product, if they're a product sales company.
Yeah.
Since we're talking mainly to manufacturing organization, I'm assuming the audience here is manufacturing or building something, or is providing a product. Now, do they have the right product? Now, to get the right product, you need the right quality, you right the right raw material, you need to build it at cost. ERP can help you do that. And the second important element, which all organizations can never keep their eyes off, is the customer, their customer itself. So having the right customer engagement, having the right customer data, who are your top performing customers, which customers are aging, which customers are not, which regions you need to sell, what are the customer sentiments, are we collecting customer feedback? Now, all these things, these two particular elements, product and the customer, is very important. And why, if you don't have the right tools and technology, which is the ERP, you cannot be successful. So laying the foundation within your digital transformation with ERP is extremely important. And of course, then comes the decision making by the C level, workflows, integration, support, adaptability, and please remember, markets are changing, industries are changing, competition is changing, and there is always this threat about, especially in what you mentioned, Kumar, the geopolitical instability, wars, and then what we also saw with the pandemic. So if you don't have the ERP right system, you can't even change if something goes wrong. So if you have the ERP, you can change, you can adopt, you can do the tweaks, you have the data ready, and teams can continue working on it. So I think extremely important to fit early on with your ERP system. And ERP system, just for everybody's benefit, it's no longer just a system of record. It's a data driven system which helps you make decisions. So you're not just recording things, you're making decisions based on what the output of an ERP system is.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right, Vibhu. And I think companies that do not leverage this very soon fall into this trap of struggling to scale or struggling to adapt. Too many challenges to not even think about it. That brings us to the next critical thing, right? Yes, ERP is a given. It's essential, absolutely essential. I know this is a very contextual question because it
Yeah.
depends on what kind of a company mine is, but still, there would be some fundamental must-haves within an ERP, right? If I am going about my ERP journey, what are the key things I should keep in mind that it must have?
Okay. So Kumar, you said it right. It's quite contextual. It can be a bit subjective depending on the industry. So at the broad level, what industry does the organization serve in? So at Epicor, we classify into three broad industries where we focus on. So one is the make, one is the move, one is the sell. So make is the manufacturing part of it. Move is the distribution, trading distribution part of it, and sell is the retail part of it. So depending on the industry, we provide the right solution. So if you are in one of those industries, especially the make or the manufacturing industries, you definitely know what your key requirements are. So I would divide it into two main parts. One is the functional requirements which you should seek from an ERP, and one are the other peripheral requirements which an ERP should have. So I'll talk less about the functional part of it because it's your business, you know what you want. But I think the core functionality is always required, and starting with the basic core function of finance, right?
Yeah.
All organizations have a finance department. It could be a large organization with the CFO, it could be a semi large organization with a finance head or a finance director into it, but they need their data, they need to make decisions, they need to build their trial balances, they need to know everything about the company so they can make the right decisions and make sure the organization is profitable. So I think the finance plays an important part. And since I'm assuming it's a manufacturing organization out here,
Yeah.
the production capability, the manufacturing execution capability of that ERP plays an extremely critical role. My sole advice would be to any organization, if you're looking for an ERP, please understand which industry you belong to, what functionality you're looking for. There are best of breed ERPs available in the market, which can suit your requirement. Go with them because they have their best practices for that industry being built in. Over the number of years, they have built in those practices. They're learning from their customers, they're adopting. You can still adopt all the functionality or less functionality. You can do configuration, you can do customization, but remember the core basic function is available in those ERPs. Now, versus an ERP, which is providing that same ERP to five different industries. A hospital is running it, a hotel is running it, a manufacturing organization is running it, a trading organization running it. Means there's a lot of tweaking going on in the system, and it does not come in with the best practice. So that's not the best of breed. So look for the industry fitment. Look at those core functionalities: the production, the finance, the inventory, warehouse. The And again, if you need the other functions like your human capital management, your HR systems as a part of it, that will play a key role. Now, this is the functional part. Now we switch gears and we move to the technology part of an ERP.
Yep.
There are many other things around it. So at the end of the day, all these departments and modules will have transactions flowing between them. They are all interconnected. There are transactions happening. There's an output coming. There's a report coming. But at the end of the day, can that ERP provide real-time data analytics to the C level for production? Does it have the right board dashboard? Do you need to bring another system for BI capability, for example, or AI capability to connect to the ERP? Then maybe you need to think twice. Why do I need two different systems? Why can't one system give me all the data? The entire supply chain capability is available in the system, and that means the last mile functionality. And I think the very, very important part, because the more we are advancing in technology, the more democratic it is becoming, which means your ERP system should have the right integration capabilities. It should have the right tools, which makes integration easy. And integration is no longer that I give you an ERP and you have a third party special system running in your organization, which you need to integrate. You need to have integration capability of your on-premise old school legacy system connecting to the latest and the greatest cloud-based ERP system. Can my ERP system connect to another cloud-based advanced system which is running on a completely different data center? And my ERP or the ERP which you adopt is running on a different data center. So those integration on the cloud, integration of on-premise to cloud should be smooth, should be seamless, and the dependency on external organizations to do that should be lessened, not increased. That's how democratic the adoption is becoming. So I think look for both these elements: the functionality part of it, which comes from the scoping, your requirements, your pain, and the other is the technological part. And what will this give you eventually? You still need your efficiency. You need enhanced decision making. You need scalability. So integration will give you that scalability, and of course, it will help you safeguard from the volatility of the market in the future.
Absolutely, Vibhu. Seamless collaboration and data democracy can always go a long way in improving agility, right? You cannot be agile if you have to run behind 10 people or send emails or make phone calls. Information should be available. The system should support you rather than the system challenging you or becoming a roadblock. You're absolutely right. I think uh, functionality is a given, but the other aspects are equally important and will gain prominence as we go along. Having talked about what we should look for in an ERP, I think the one big decision point on an ERP journey always is: are we ready to start an ERP project? Are we ready to take this forward? There are so many stakeholders, right? The ERP touches every single aspect of an organization, and we need to get all these stakeholders on board. We need to make sure the project is successful, because adoption depends on the success of the project, and there are so many other moving parts when you're doing an ERP project. So you can't stop business to start an ERP project. So this is a kind of I think thing that many companies may not be factoring sufficiently. Vibhu, you have seen this hundreds of times, so I think if you can talk about it, it'll be good.
No, a very good question, Kumar, and somehow this is a bit close to my heart because it does frustrate me sometimes, and I'll give you a very candid answer, and please pardon my. I'm just thinking about it, and the example which comes to my mind. I hope nobody minds it. Is marriage.
Yeah.
Are you getting married because there's somebody's parents are pressurizing you, or you think you're at a certain age, you should get married, and then you're sort of forced into it. And when you're forced into a marriage and you're not internally ready, you're not prepared yourself. You don't know what it means. You don't know what it takes. You don't know how to manage it. Nobody's advised you a lot on it, and you just think it has to be done because it has to be done. It's the norm of the society, and you end up doing it. Those marriages do then take time to settle in, or there could be some sort of struggle. I'm not saying everything is smooth. You can have a perfect timing of the marriage. There still could be challenges. So I think similar is the ERP procurement cycle. And when I say it's close to my heart, because I worked with ERP vendor organization for the last 20 years, and there's never a right answer. We still struggle. I have a big team in India. I have a big team in Middle East and Africa, and we engage with our prospects and with our customers day in day out. We spend hours and days and months engaging and understanding the scope and doing the demos and evaluating and all those things.
Mm.
And with all good intent, the organization we're dealing with, um, they do have a pain, they do have a business need, there is a requirement, and they also at some point says, okay, I will have the budget available to do this kind of spend, right? And in their mind they are also working towards a timeline to make the purchase of that ERP, and they do also have a timeline in their mind when they want to go live with the ERP system, right? so
Yeah.
so if you look at it, it's a perfect world. But then
Yeah.
you go back and you say it's two or three individuals you're talking in an organization, and somewhere the ultimate decision maker or the owner of the business or the key members of the business have not bought into it, or they have not done the internal readiness. And internal readiness could mean a lot of things, right? It's the mentality, it's the emotional part of it. ERP can also be a little bit of an emotional purchase for an organization. It's not always black and white. There's sometimes a gray in it. So internal readiness becomes very important so that decision can be made. And then when decision is made, you have to see through the decision. You can't make a decision and let it go. It's like a baby now. You can't let it sit idle. It has to run through. So if internal readiness is not there, the projects can fail. So again, I would say two parts to it: technical readiness, and the other is the cultural readiness. And I think that's the example I gave you. In technically, we feel customers are ready, but when it comes to move ahead with the journey, something stops them, or there are doubts, or even if they makes the decision, there are hiccups. Project is signed off, we want to start next week, but it takes 2 months to start because they don't have the people, nobody's devoting the time. And why this happens, culturally, I'll mention mainly culturally, because technically I think we all understand there's a pain, there's a budget, there's a timeline. Are we talking to the right people? We assume we're talking to the right people, but stakeholder alignment and engagement is somewhere missing. So throughout the journey, and this is both from vendors perspective and customers perspective, every time you complete a major step in evaluation, take a step back and see, we have come a long way. Are we ready? Are we ready to bring this baby home? So those are the questions we need to ask each other every single time. Are we ready to culturally change the mindset? You may have people within the organization which are used to old style systems, and they've been working on that for a very long time. Are we fostering a relationship with all of them that there's a change coming? Are we, and you could be an organization which have not invested in soft skills or IT, technology, modern system training. You may have training plans for how to run a machinery, how to do a particular task in the logistics center, but you may not have trainings built for these departments. So do you have a culture of training and enablement for employees? If that's missing, then you'll have a struggle, because then ERP will implementation will become part of the training. So if you don't do all this, there could be resistance and can hinder the adoption of an ERP, even if you end up buying it. So keep clear communications, I would say. I mean, especially coming from the top, about what the benefits, why we are doing it. The why part has to be explained to the every single employee of the organization, and it has to come from the leadership who is championing this change. Invest into the training programs, equip the users, skills, and keep them updated on the progress. And if there are challenges along the way, don't shy about mentioning it, because if you tell them there's a challenge, people will have patience, employees
Yeah.
will have patience, and they'll wait. So I think, I see it day in day out. We do everything, spend 6 months, and somehow somewhere, the key decision maker is not ready. We say we are not ready.
Yeah.
So the
True.
effort on both sides go wasted for that particular year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think change management and transparency in communication crucial. Uh,
Yeah.
if we have crossed that hurdle, of course, then we come to the next key thing, right? Yes, now we are ready. Who's the bride? So we are taking the marriage story further. Uh, how can I be sure I'm choosing the right ERP? What should they keep in mind? What is the kind of checklist that we can have to select the right one?
So the right ERP is something which fits your requirement. But again, I would say how to choose is, uh, any organization should invest time in planning. If you plan it right, you will get the right ERP. If you don't plan it and just straight away start evaluating and just doing some Google search here and there, won't cut it. You have to do a holistic evaluation exercise, even if it can add a couple of more months, for example, to your actual procurement. It's okay, because once you've planned it right, your evaluation will go right, and once your evaluation is finished, then you'll have then it's a smooth journey ahead. So while I spoke about previously that, look for an ERP which fits your industry or your business requirements is really crucial. But besides doing the industry fitment, functionality fitment of your particular departments, I think look for an ERP which is a tier one, maybe tier two. Why? Because these are companies which are backed up by their strong financial foundation. So if an organization, your ERP vendor, you don't know their financials, how strong they are, do they have R&D departments, how many people work in their R&D departments, what's the type of budget these ERP vendors are spending on doing R&D? Because ERP is not just to take care of your current requirements. Please understand, it has to be futuristic. Your organization today is not going to be the same 3 years or 5 years down the line. Dynamics will change, and your ERP has to still stick around. And which ERP can do? The organizations which are investing in building their ERP system. So tier one, tier two ERP, the right industry which is in, and the ERP which is investing in their own future product enhancement is extremely important. Understand the vendor reputation. My vendor reputation is again of two folds. Do they have similar customers of your industry? So getting references checked. There is no harm. Be bold, be brave, ask for references. Talk to their other customers, of course, considering confidentiality and trust and comfort of the other customer. If you want, ask for that help. Look for vendor reputation data from third party assessments, whether it's Gartner, IDC. There are so many other nucleus research. There are other tools and technologies available. I'm not saying that they are all that can be 100% accurate, but that will give you a direction. Those
Yeah.
large organizations have invested a lot of time and effort in evaluating ERP, their strength, why they are good, and all that data is not coming from the ERP vendor. They are collecting data from ERP vendors' customers. So
Yes.
somewhere down the line, they have the right analysis done. The system flexibility, the integration part of it, the scalability, besides functionality, is the other area where you need to invest your time and understanding how flexible it is. If it is a cloud-based system, what kind of data center they're using? Is that data center a world-class data center which has inbuilt cybersecurity? For example, Microsoft, AWS, it's no brainer. They are best of breed data centers available where your cloud ERP is hosted. So it comes with inherent technological advancements. And does your ERP vendor have a right, available, knowledgeable customer support center? Because you would require support, right? And look for these things. Understand their upgrade path. Again, very, very important. You may adopt an ERP, you may be comfortable, but what if you have a strong IT department by now and you want to keep upgrading, keep looking for new enhancements, right? And what other new features they are bringing. So understand all those things. And in all this, I think what is very sensitive and very close to every customer's heart is the cost. You have an
Yeah.
absolute right to know what the long term cost of adopting that ERP is. First of all, one is the ROI and calculations, but what is the TCO? If you're buying an on premise solution, what is my long term maintenance cost? If you're buying a cloud based system, what is my ongoing subscription cost? And against that subscription and maintenance, what am I getting?
Yeah.
So you need to maximize. So I will not ignore cost. I think this is a one question which is on customers' mind is not just what I'm spending now, what I'm going to spend 5 years, what I'm going to spend 10 years from now on if I continue sticking around with the same ERP. So invest your time in evaluation, take your time, plan. If you need to create a committee, create a committee. You need to create evaluation KPI document, do that. But have it ready and ask questions internally what every department is looking for and then do a check mark. So bit of a hard work here, but it goes a long way, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's better to spend time upfront rather than struggle to force fit something later on because something was not appropriately evaluated.
Yeah.
Seen that numerous times. If the ERP is important, I guess the implementation partner is equally important because you may have purchased the best of the best ERPs in the world, but if the implementation is messed up by someone, then you would not extract the best value out of it. Right? So this is also a very, very important. What should uh, organizations look at while evaluating, say, for example, Ryan Brooke as a potential service partner? What should the customer should be?
Yeah. I mean, Kumar, you probably are the best person to answer this. You do represent a very large and a successful ERP implementation organization, Rhinebrook. But I can give you a vendor perspective, right? And then again, Kumar, a very good question. I think a customer or an organization adopting ERP cannot underestimate the importance of the services partner they're going to work with because that's where it's a very engaging ongoing exercise, right? I think the first key part is the services or implementation partner which a customer is going to choose. Is it endorsed and authorized by the vendor themselves? In
Yeah.
today's world, there are so many small mom and pop shops everywhere, and they have three certified X ABC um, ERP certified three employees sitting in one corner, or 10 employees, or 20 employees. But are they authorized and certified by the vendor themselves to go ahead and do a formal implementation at a customer end? Is a very important part. And I think this is a place a customer should not look at saving some dollars here and there and choosing the wrong partner just because they have certified consultant. Certified consultants don't mean anything unless a partner you choose have an overall plan. So look for authorization, look for certification, look for the partner status. But besides that, look at the implementations partners overall experience. Even if it is a new organization, look at the people which are working over there, how many years of experience they are bringing to the table, so
Mhm.
that where they're successfully implemented an ERP in a similar industry. So similar industry experience would be the second one. Third would be the technical expertise. So by technical expertise means, do they understand this particular ERP which they bought? For Epicor, for example, are they certified on Epicor? Have they implemented Epicor? Do they understand the configuration? Do they understand the integration capabilities? Do they know what, how to? Do they themselves have access to the tools and technologies and the knowledge base and the direct connection with the vendor where they can request help if they get stuck somewhere? The other one would be domain expertise. You may know how to implement an ERP, but does your implementation partner know how a finance function works, how a production system works, and not just how these four, five departments work, how they are integrated with each other? How does the data flow? Who goes where? Where does the master data come from? And the more we are going into manufacturing, discrete or process, we are finding every industry have its own nuances. For example, in steel, we have something called advanced unit of measure. You may know how to do steel fabrication, but you can't do AUM. So
Yeah.
that's another level of detail. So understanding those smaller details and matching their expertise with what you require as an organization is important.
Yeah.
And governing all this, and probably that's my last bit on it, is does the implementation partner follow the right project management approach? Do they have the methodology in place? And within that methodology is taking care of risks. It's not just implementing a project. What if things go wrong? And by things going wrong, could be customer data is not available, data is unclean, a particular department of the customer is not there, somebody fell sick, and either party, somebody is not available, there is delay of a month, there is delay in provisioning, it could be anything. How would the implementation partner in those times stir the ship so that eventually the organization stays on track? I think look for all those things, and these can be gone through proof points and discussions. And over time, when you're engaging, the trust is built. And I would say look for these factors while you're choosing your implementation partner.
There's actually a question exactly along the lines of this. Syed Shafiq has asked, should we go with tier one or tier two partners, or should we go without a partner? I think you answered a lot of it, but going without a partner, I think probably we didn't even consider that. So maybe you can shed some light on the risk of doing that.
So tier one and tier two is the question.
Should we be going with tier one, tier two partners, or should we go without a partner? So I think
No, I think tier one, tier two is totally dependent on the customer. Both are equally good. Now, again, depending how large your organization is,
yeah,
what type of budgets a customer has will define in a big way tier one or tier two. A tier two partner can be a much better and a bigger expert than a tier one in some cases, because they probably do only that ERP and they don't do anything else.
exactly.
That's it. They don't do anything else. Means that's their bread and butter. So they'll put their whole soul. And also remember, they will provide some level of flexibility. Please understand, you also need to, a customer needs to look at themselves, how rigid or how flexible they are. If they are an organization where they feel that they are not always ready, their teams are not available, the data is not available, they need some flexibility while they're building the house, right? If you're example, you're building a house, you're given a contract to a contractor, but you yourselves are not able to provide the cement on time or make the purchase on time, and then you ask the vendor to, please give me 1 week. We are busy in a
Yeah,
visit to Germany. My management is not there. Can you hold? Now, remember, implementation partner is incurring cost. Here, they have people sitting on the bench, but you need that flexibility. So, tier two partner will be able to give you that flexibility. But if you go to a tier one partner, he will say, okay, it's costing me money. I don't care. I'm still going to charge you for that week. So please have that dialogue and understand where your strengths and weaknesses are. If you have a weakness, or you have a lack of availability of anything, resource, money, time, people, material, data, could be anything, you need a flexible partner. So I would say that, and not going without a partner, I don't think that's would be a prudent decision. Why I say this is because um, if it's a brand new implementation, how will you implement in the first place?
yeah,
Are you going to hire, is a customer prospect going to hire their own team? That could be a costly affair, and then that may not be the right team. So go with an implementation partner. And by the way, Kumar, I would do like to say this if anybody is confused. Um, some ERP vendor organizations have their own implementation departments, their own
yes,
professional services. So customer can have a choice. I want to deal directly with the ERP vendor on the product and services, or I want to get a partner who's going to work closely with me day in, day out. And again, cost, flexibility, scalability, complexity, all defined how we going to work. Generally, ERP professional services department of an ERP vendor only focus on their ERP. They don't do any other work. But if your ERP implementation requires integration with an AutoCAD system and you need this partner to also know a little bit of AutoCAD, for example, then the partner availability would play a better role uh, in that, if that makes sense,
Yeah,
to Sai.
absolutely. Absolutely. So there are a bunch of questions coming in, but I will still, I think we have a little bit more to cover. So uh,
Okay.
just this is the last question, and I think then we'll move on to the audience questions because they're still coming in. How can businesses ensure that what they are doing is appropriate in a way that the ERP system remains scalable and flexible? It should be that the company has to evolve, grow, react to market conditions. They may open new branches, they may open new service lines, but the ERP should evolve and it should be catering to that. So some few pointers on what they should look for when to ensure something like this doesn't become a bottleneck.
Yeah. So I think I did cover a few points on the future part of it. But I think in to summarize, I'll look at this as a summary question, Kumar, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would like to summarize by saying to ensure an ERP system remains scalable and flexible, businesses should prioritize modular architecture
Yeah.
that supports easy integration with emerging technologies like AI, blockchain, IoT, etc. So, selecting an ERP with a strong ecosystem of third party integrations enables adaptability as needs evolve. We talk about flexibility here. So, that's where the flexibility comes from. Now, additionally, working with vendors who offer regular upgrades and
Mm.
enhancements, it will help future proofing the system,
Yeah.
ensuring it can support growth and technological advancements over time. So I think that would be my big summary on how do you ensure that your ERP system will remain scalable
Absolutely. Yeah.
and flexible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There are a few questions, so we'll come back to the questions, but
Okay.
briefly, Vibhu, since we are here and we have people here, maybe a quick summary on what Epicor is all about.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure. Why not? I mean, for those who don't know, Epicor is a tier one ERP company, 52 years in existence. So, which also means we're bringing the best of breed functionality for those particular industries which we serve. And we are headquartered out of Austin, United States, with a growing strength of 4,500 employees. The last check we did was around 22,000 plus customers in more than 120 countries. And as I mentioned, the three key industries we serve is the make, move, and sell. And by make, I mean the manufacturing. And for the benefit of this discussion, and the Epicor Middle East office, which is in Dubai, and Epicor India office in Africa, we primarily focus on the make. If you're in a manufacturing organization with maybe with trading and distribution attached to it, we are the right partners to serve those particular industries. And we are more than 1.2 billion dollars, so it's a large organization, yet we are humble and nimble enough to work very closely hand in hand with our partner organization to serve our customers better.
Absolutely. I can endorse that. And of course, it's modular. You already spoke about this. It can easily talk to multiple systems. So I think this was part of your summary. Very important that a flexible,
Yeah.
scalable ERP. And very briefly about Ryan Brooke, I represent Ryan Brooke. We are very, very focused on Epicor as a ERP. We are a premium partner. We've been one for 10 years plus now. We are Europe headquartered, but we have a very strong footprint in Middle East, India, and Africa. We have done projects across more than 45 countries and lots of projects in Middle East, Africa region. We have an office in Dubai, we have offices in India, in Germany, in Netherlands. And we are very happy to serve customers over many, many years. We have customers who are like with us as old as the company is. And our specialization is ERP. We are very, very strongly vertical focused, especially the verticals that Vibhu was just talking about a minute ago. Um, with this, I'll move to the questions because there was a bunch of questions that people have asked, Vibhu, and maybe we can just take a few key ones. There are too many questions, so I'll pick up a few. I think we already touched on this. The ERP should have the right integration capabilities. We need WMS and PLM. How should we be going about choosing the ERP? So I think you kind of answered. This is essentially ensure that there is open architecture and modular architecture, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the right tools available. So WMS, PLM, that's what I heard, Kumar, you
Yes,
mentioned two things.
absolutely. Yeah,
So some ERPs come with inbuilt PLMs and WMS systems, but they may not be that advanced. They may
yeah,
be basic because that's not a requirement of every industry. So not just the ERP, then what you need to understand is not just the ERP who has an open architecture and the REST APIs or tools. The product they're going to integrate with also should be a bit futuristic and modern, so it becomes seamless and easy. But in today's day and age, I think they are all providing that. We haven't faced a single challenge. And if you
yeah.
look at Epicor, we have something called the Automation Studio.
Yes,
It's an integration tool. It comes with its own recipes and formulas, and it is so easy and flexible that a customer who has adopted the ERP takes Automation Studio and they can do the integrations on the fly themselves, and
yeah,
it's can be happen pretty rapidly.
exactly. There's a bunch of questions around similar lines. How can we customize without losing flexibility and scalability, especially in the cloud world? I think this becomes a relevant question. So I thought we have few more minutes. So if you could
Yeah.
just take
So
this up.
customizations, I think we need to understand what's customization and what's configuration, personalization. So personalizations are on the fly these days. They're pretty smooth. It can be for a department, it can be for a user. I think that doesn't take away any form of flexibility or
Yeah,
scalability issues. The other is customization. Yes, your business may have a very unique need or a demand which in which you would want to customize a particular part or an element or a report or anything, right?
yeah,
If you're on a cloud-based system, and mostly customers are adopting cloud, it's easier. First of all, the cloud architecture and the ERP vendor itself should give you that allowance to do that kind of change. So Epicor provides that.
yeah,
If you're doing it on the cloud, and when the next upgrade comes, that's where the scale flexibility comes in. It's generally seamless, and what we provide is a time period for all our customers to do the testing, and our tools are built in a way that you can take the customization and port it to the latest version seamlessly, and you get the testing period, you get the testing time, you move the customization. And also please understand, when you upgrade to a newer version, the newer version is coming with functionality.
yeah,
So please understand, maybe that customization may no longer be required with the upgrade. So that's part one of the exercise. If it is still required, you have a testing period of 30 days, which you test, port using the right tools. There's something called analyzer, which Epicor uses if you're on an on-premise to a cloud version. So
yeah,
in no ways and means the scalability or flexibility will go away. So
yeah.
customizations are not a hindrance. They are done because it's a deep requirement of an organization.
Absolutely. Yeah. So essentially, yes, I've also noticed this numerous times. Customization should be because it's a business specific need and not because we are used to a certain way. Because the ERP brings a lot of best practices, so that evaluation also needs to happen: best practice versus comfortable practice, and which will give the long term ROI. And then, if it is essential, there's always the sanity check that it will upgrade easily. Yeah, absolutely. There's this question, maybe I can pick this up. How does an organization ensure that the ERP implementation stays on budget and time? This is from Money. I think, first of all, preparedness, right? Planning and preparedness is very, very crucial. Don't jump into the project unprepared. Vibhu, you already spoke about this. I'll just reiterate for those who came late. Be plan ahead, get buy-in from all the stakeholders who are going to be involved in the project, make sure of their availability, make sure you're planning around holiday calendars, vacations, etc., and plan for some contingency. Things can still go wrong despite everything. So plan ahead, look at what your end goal is, and then work backwards. Make sure you have a very, very robust plan with enough built in to address any unforeseen disruptions. I would say that that is very, very crucial. Anything else you want to add here, Vibhu?
No, I think you're right. I mean, nothing more to add. You said the right elements, and I think these are typical questions which an ERP implementation partner deals with the
Yeah.
customer. Prepare for contingencies always. Always have that plan B in place. Both
Sure.
sides, both sides. It's not a
Yeah.
perfect world, but there is no challenge which can't be circumvented if we plan ahead.
Syed has a follow-up question, but I think this is a little involved. I'm not sure if we can cover that in the time that we have. Can you share
Mhm.
some inputs which will help us in gathering requirements the right way from internal teams before sharing with vendors? So I think this is essentially the shopping list coming from all the different departments, how to assemble it. I'm not sure which industry it is, but we want to take a shot at this.
I mean, again, this is up to the implementation partner. Everybody follows a different methodology on requirement gathering. So, when you're evaluating an ERP, a lot of high level requirements have already been gathered. But once the project is assigned or given to a particular implementation partner, Ryan Book, for example, you might have your own way of collecting. I think there's a questionnaire which goes to every department
Yeah.
on a very high level, and then your domain experts, implementation team's domain expert, goes arranges meeting with each department to go through that list, and then they do a second iteration of the requirement gathering, saying, you said that this is how you operate, this is what you need, we have a few follow-up questions on how we want to do it. So this is part of the planning phase, uh, once the
Yeah.
project has kicked off. So
And I
unless
think
Kumar Reinbrook uses a different process methodology, you can address it. But
yeah,
this is what we have seen
yes, yeah,
mainly.
we do. But the time is not sufficient to cover it. But I would mention one additional point, Vibhu, which is that anything that is received from the different internal departments should also be classified under must have, should have, could have, and nice to have, because people will probably, when they see, okay, an ERP is getting implemented, they'll come with a list which is like hundreds of lines long. So that internal prioritization must happen to keep reasonable sanity on the project plan, because there can be lots and lots of items that may or may not be essential for the business process. So especially in the early stages, people will come up with lots of requirements. So classifying them before actually taking them forward is ideal, because it can have two impacts, either the timeline or the cost. I mean, if the timeline goes up, anyway, the cost will go up. So you need to keep that in mind when you're collecting requirements of the different departments.
Yeah.
If you answered, we can always connect offline, Syed, and discuss this more. More than happy to talk to you. Uh, we have time for just one more question. There are a bunch of questions. I think we already spoke about employee resistance, so I think change management is anyway absolutely essential. There's one vertical specific question. We are a manufacturing company, and what are the key points we should consider when choosing an ERP?
So the right production planning system, shop floor system, manufacturing execution system. I think look for those functionality, and of course, go to Gartner, go to Nucleus. They have a specific industry-specific ERP quadrants built. Uh, so Epicor, for example, is a leader in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant for product-centric enterprises. Product-centric enterprises means organizations which make products.
Yeah.
They don't sell services, as simple as that. So if you are in that, in the high end, that means you are in that industry for a very long time. So third party assessments, analysis tools, etc. is available. And when you're evaluating the functionality, you know your business better, you know what how you're manufacturing a product, how's the raw material coming in, what about the wastage, what about the quality. Just ask those questions and request the vendor to start showcasing through their product as a vanilla. And if you have data ready with you, give them a data. They will plug in your data and they will show you how your organization's data will flow within the system, what you can call as a mini POC, proof of
Yes,
concept.
absolutely.
So if you look at those kind of areas, then you will have the right ERP system for your manufacturing requirements.
Spot on, Vibhu. Fantastic. I think we are nearly out of time, so I would just say thank you so much, Vibhu, for one more very engaging session, and looking forward to hosting you again sometime in the new year. Thank you, everyone. You've been a great audience, and thanks for all the questions. Looking forward to catching up with you again. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Kumar, for your time and your questions. Really engaging, and as always, I enjoy this. So look forward to the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.